Inshallah, in today's video, I'm going to share with you a very simple and easy strategy to recite the entire Quran in 5 minutes or less at a time. Whether you're a child or an adult, whether you're male or female, whether you know how to recite fluently or not, I have a strategy for everyone. Coming up, roll the intro. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to HealMyTech Tajweed, helping you read. If you're new here, consider subscribing, enable the bell icon notification, and everyone smash the like button for more videos like this one, Insha Allah. My name is Ash from HealMyTech Tajweed, but I also have another channel on YouTube. It's a tech channel. It's called HealMyTech. So go up there and check it out. Give me some love if you benefit from it, Insha Allah. Ramadan Mubarak everyone, 2019. I'm going to try and release this video today. This is the 5th of May 2019. So tomorrow, Monday the 6th of May 2019 is the first day of Ramadan, at least I know for UK. Not sure about the rest of the world. So Ramadan Mubarak everyone. Now if you happen to stumble on this video a lot later during Ramadan of 2019, you can still implement the strategy I'm going to talk about today. Even if you see this video outside of Ramadan, not a problem. Start implementing the strategy as soon as you watch the video, inshallah. We're going to start this with a huge reminder to myself and everyone else that the ultimate goal of the Quran, it is not to complete it from cover to cover with just recitation during the month of Ramadan. There is no obligation to do that. It is, however, very highly recommended to do so, like every action is multiplied during Ramadan, so you would be a fool to miss out on this opportunity, along so many other acts of worship you could do during Ramadan. Far more important than just reciting the Quran from cover to cover is to ponder over the meaning and implement its teachings, inshallah. This is something which even myself can be guilty of, as we focus maybe on the tajweed or just reciting or completing, and we forget that we're supposed to ponder. So please, inshallah, do your best effort to complement the recitation of the Quran with some tafsir classes, lectures, whatever else you can to do, even reading the translation of the meaning to be able to understand what you're reading, inshallah. And ultimately, every one of us, including myself, should try and make an effort to learn Arabic to understand the Quran. Now this reminder is out of the way, let's get on to the strategy. Now we're going to deal with the brothers first and then the sisters, because the sisters may have some limitations during some days during Ramadan where they feel they either have very limited connection or no connection at all with the Quran. Now here is the key strategy, and that is to spread the recitation of the Quran throughout the day and associate it with each salah. Now, if you already have a strategy where you can sit down in one full session and read like 1 juz a day, then you don't need this strategy. However, this is an option, maybe you haven't thought of it before, or some people can't actually find a single session to do like 1 juz a day. So this strategy could be used. Maybe you could give it a try and then decide which one is best for you. Now first, we're going to take an ideal situation where there are 30 days of Ramadan and there are 5 salah daily that you are praying. After this, I'm going to give you some adjustments in a less than ideal situation. So there are 30 juz in the Quran, or 30 para, or 30 sipara. The goal is to recite at least 1 juz per day. In the standard Medina Mus'haf, there are 20 pages per juz, 20 pages per day for 5 salah. That's 4 pages per salah. So your goal is to recite 4 pages for each salah. Now you can divide it further by doing 2 pages before the fard salah and 2 pages after the fard salah. Of course, if you just want to do 4 pages before or after the fard salah, that is up to you. Now, every 2 pages of the Medina Mus'haf, depending on your fluency, will take you from 3 minutes to 6 minutes with the strategy that I'm going to give you. The average should be something like 4 minutes and 30 seconds, but I said 5 minutes because it's much easier to round it off with 5 minutes. And inshallah, if this video is not too long, in the end, I'm going to give you a practical example of brother Hamza, who will be reciting the first 2 pages of Surah Baqarah, and we will also time it to give you a demonstration. Now let's start with those people who are actually fluent with their recitation. Now there is a speed of reciting the Quran which is called hadr, in which you can shorten some of the mududs, like the mud of Munfasil, which is a mud between 2 words. We've actually covered this, so you can check out that video up there. Or mud arid lis-sukun, which happens sometimes at the end of an ayah, like alameen can be read with 2 beats instead of 4 or 6. So essentially, a lot of the mudud rules can be shortened to make only 2 mud asli, okay, 2 beats, not a problem. So a person who is fluent, like a hafiz who is revising for Taraweeh, or a person who really is fluent in reciting, can actually recite anything between 3 and 4 minutes 2 pages with the hadr style of recitation. Now be careful with this. Speeding up does not mean incoherence. Unfortunately, we know there are people who recite the Quran so fast that the letters get changed. You can't even hear what they're saying, what they're pronouncing, and they don't even respect a lot of the Tajweed rules. Even with hadr, you need to respect the Tajweed rules, and you also need to make sure your letters are pronounced correctly. You just can speed up the recitation to help you finish the Quran in a lot easier time, or help you retain your memorization, or help you develop your fluency. Now, depending on the speed of your hadr, you could also be taking maybe between 3 and 4 minutes, and some people can take up to 5 minutes for 2 pages, even with some mistakes and correcting these mistakes, and even with all the long mududs. We have actually timed it with us and with our students and with scholars that we've timed. We can actually do that, alhamdulillah.
إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون ألا إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا كما آمن الناس قالوا أنؤمن كما آمن السفهاء ألا إنهم هم السفهاء ولكن لا يعلمون وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله ودعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين فإن لم تفعلوا ولن تفعلوا فاتقوا النار التي وقودها الناس والحجارة أعدت للكافرين.
So that covers those who are fluent in their recitation. All you need is a copy of the Mus'haf and break your recitation amongst the 5 salah. So that's 4 pages per salah. That's 2 pages before the fard and 2 pages after, inshallah. And just like that, with very little effort, you would have covered a whole juz per day minimum, over and above the tarawih that you may be attending. So now let's do those who are semi-fluent. So these people, they can recite, but there's a bit of mistakes. They need a bit of prompting, a bit of help. They may be able to read a line 1 or more times, which is not a problem. Now for you people, inshallah, I recommend something like this, which is a smartphone and an earphone or headphone, or you can use an app on a computer. Now the reason I'm suggesting an app rather than just an audio CD or audio recording is because with an app you can actually control which page you're reciting. You can put things like bookmarks, and even the tafsir in some apps will be present, so you could read some of the commentaries, which will be a good complement to your recitation. And of course with a mobile phone you're a lot more flexible in terms of location and situation where you may be able to have a few minutes to recite, and I'm going to cover these tips later in the video. So for these semi-fluent people, you need to just pick a reciter of your choice, let it play and follow on your app. Obviously, depending on your location, use your earphone, and make sure, this is important, when you recite, don't just recite in your head. Make sure you are making the movement with your mouth, with your lips. Try to pronounce the letters as loud as possible without, disturbing other people, depending on what environment you're in. But it is important that you make movement and not just recite in your head or in your heart. Okay, what you may notice is at the beginning you may find it difficult to keep up with the pacing and even the tajweed of the reciter, but soon enough, after a few pages, after a few juz, after a few days, you will find that you're going to be able to catch up at the same speed of the reciter. Fun story for me, truly, a few years ago when I wanted to recite the entire Quran during Ramadan for the first time, that was without any previous experience. I found it very difficult, so I started using this method. Now at the beginning I was having difficulty keeping up with the pace of the reciter. After a few days, I saw myself catching up with the pace of the reciter, although they were doing not hadr, but all the tajweed rules and all the mududs. But soon enough, unfortunately or fortunately, I found myself getting impatient because the reciter now was too slow for me. Alhamdulillah. And that's because as I was progressing and practicing daily, it became natural for me. So I actually stopped using the reciter. I think it was after the 10th juz or something like that, and I finished the rest of the Quran, alhamdulillah, by myself, because although my tajweed wasn't bad back then, but my fluency wasn't great, at least at the beginning, but towards the end it became much better, so I was able to finish in much shorter time, still keeping the tajweed rules. Okay, so I think if I can do it, I have no doubt, inshallah, you will be able to do this or even better. And that for you is going to be a great way to improve your fluency and also your tajweed. And from my calculations, I've checked a few different reciters. They usually will do one page about 3 minutes, give or take. But you can choose a reciter of your choice and maybe set a specific time target to whichever you like. And now for those who have great difficulties in reciting, either by looking in or even when they're hearing, they have problem repeating after. Now for you, I'm going to tell you, do not be discouraged. Remember the famous hadith that the one who recites the Quran with difficulty will get double the reward than the one who can recite it easily. So it's good news all around. I would still tell you, use the same exact method, a mobile phone with an app or a computer at home, whichever. And even if you don't know how to recite the Arabic letters by looking in, let it play. In your case, I would say to you, pick a reciter who recites really slowly and with very good tajweed rule. Of course, one very famous reciter that we will always recommend is Sheikh Husayri. Alhamdulillah. So he's very consistent. Tajweed is excellent and very clear as well. And obviously, it will take you a lot longer than 5 minutes to read 2 pages, maybe even up to maybe 8-10 minutes. However, again, the same principle. You may not know every tajweed rule, you may not know every letter, but if your intention is correct and you just want to go through the Quran, this will in and of itself help you to develop some pacing and correct some letters. Hopefully, if you listen carefully to the scholar, I would say go for it, but at the same time make an intention, inshallah, that you need to start learning tajweed with someone, maybe with HealMyTech Channel. Contact me, inshallah. Now these methods will apply to anyone, child or adult male. Okay, now we're going to talk about the sisters. Now for the sisters, there are some time during the month, a few days, it could be anything, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, Allah knows best, that you may feel you are not able to have a connection with the Quran. Now there are different opinions regarding this, and I'm not a scholar, so please do not ask me about the difference of opinions. you have to find a scholar that you trust and ask them and follow that. Okay, now I will only tell you what I know to be out there. This is not a fatwa. Now, as far as I know, no one will say that you can touch the mushaf during those times. This is very, very clear. This is not permissible at all. Okay, now some will allow that you can look into the mushaf and recite. Some will allow that you can look and touch a digital device like a phone app or a computer app. Some will allow you not to look in and not to touch, obviously, but you can listen and repeat after. Some will allow you to recite from memory. Some will allow you to listen but not to recite, neither with your lips nor in your head, just kind of casually listen to it, or maybe like play it in the background, but not too distracting. And Allah knows best. Now, whichever opinion you follow, again, up to you. Please don't ask me questions. If you find that there's a few days you can't recite the Quran or have a connection with the Quran, then what you can do is, before those days, try to double up on the quantity of recitation per day. So instead of doing 1 juz a day, try to aim for 2 juz a day. And obviously after this as well, try to catch up the remainder. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, that also leads me to a less than ideal situation. What about if there is 29 days instead of 30 days? And what about for those who may not be able to consistently do it for the 5 salah per day? Now, here is the advice. Now, in the case where there is 29 days, and it could always be a case, what I would say is you have a few choices. First thing you could do that day 1, do 2 juz instead of just 1. That's one option. So by 29th day, you would have completed it. If not, option 2 is you do a juz and a bit more every day. So soon enough, you'll catch up maybe on the 8th or 10th day, and you will be well on your way to finish by the 29th day, inshallah. Now, there are also some people who try to finish by the 27th. And again, you can just kind of gauge and adjust your schedule according to that. Now, one tip on this, if you can, find a hafiz who is leading Taraweeh and ask them for their schedule, exactly what are they reciting day 1, day 2, day 3, and just use that schedule to follow so you don't have any issues. Now, on that note, if anyone has a very nice schedule, they can put in the comment section below so others will benefit, inshallah. My voice is problematic. 1 minute. And now, in terms of one more contingency, instead of aiming for 5 salah for the recitation, I would say aim for 4 salah. So you leave 1 salah as contingency, because not everyone may be available for every single salah for the same amount of time. So in that case, you're going to be reading not 4 pages per salah, but 5 pages per salah. Again, you can adjust however you see fit. And for my absolute last tip for today, there are so many occasions throughout the whole day that you have between 3 and 5 minutes, or maybe even more, that you're not doing anything else. And it can be part and parcel of your own normal schedule. So you don't have to find specific times to recite the Quran. I'm going to give some examples, including what I do. Now, on the way to the masjid, you can easily recite at least 1 to 2 pages. I can do between 2 and 4 pages if I focus. On the way back from the masjid, again, do the same. You can cover a few pages. At the masjid, while waiting for the adhan, you can recite a couple of pages. While waiting for salah, you can recite a few pages. Again, this will be very helpful and with an earphone, because you're not disturbing anyone. When you're queuing up anywhere, things like in the supermarket, waiting for the bus, waiting for a car, waiting for the train, while you're commuting in the bus, in the car, or in the train, while you're in traffic, you can recite anytime someone or something tells you, your call is important to us, you've been placed in the queue, please wait and someone will get back to you. Some people can even probably do a PhD in 5 years just waiting by the phone call. Before you sleep, if you're having trouble, I know you have your mobile phone with you, so a couple of pages before you sleep, not a problem. Now, last but not least, at iftar time, instead of eyeing how many samosas your neighbors got on their plate, you could, do a few pages just there and then. Alhamdulillah. And once again, if anyone has other kind of timings or tips during the day, how they can make use of the time to recite Quran, please put it in the comment section below for others to benefit. So alhamdulillah, we've come to the end of today's video. I hope this was helpful for you, at least to understand that you can do it relatively easily if you just break it down. Allah likes those small deeds that we do regularly, and this is a good example of that. Of course, some people, they want to finish the Quran more than one time during Ramadan, which is even better. And there is no set targets, no set number of times, as much as you can recite. And like we've mentioned, pondering and understanding what you're reading and acting upon its teaching is even far more important. And also, you don't have to stick to this schedule during Ramadan. This is a good way to start, and you can also maintain that after Ramadan. I mean, if you really want to develop your fluency and speed and correct your tajweed, if you can at least do one juz every month, alhamdulillah. So Jazakallahu khairan for watching this video. I hope you've benefited from it. If you have, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and if you've not subscribed yet, please consider doing so and enable the bell icon notification. Don't forget my other channel, HealMyTech. Also, I'm still looking for people to help with the Tajweed channel so we can carry on doing the work we're doing. And there's also a donation through PayPal. If you give anything, it will be counted as Sadaqah Jariyah for you as long as people benefit. It's paypal.me/HealMyTajweed. And don't forget to keep it in your du'as and pray for all the Muslims in the world for our forgiveness, and may Allah guide us all to the straight path. As usual, this was Ash from HealMyTech Channel helping you read. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.